What did you think about getting into a startup out of college, not making money, not being stable, so as to say? I don't know when's the like first paycheck you withdrew, probably 3-4 years in after you started doing the credit union stuff, right?
Yeah.
What was that journey like? Did your parents ever question why you're doing it this way?
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. No, I think that's good. I think maybe I was like really naive about it, I guess. I think there's like one part about it is when I was naive about it. And maybe the other part is like, funny enough, like super overconfident in my ability to get a job, like in the software industry, where I was probably a little bit more like, I think I can always get a job and I'm not that worried about it, so I can take some risks. And I feel like I was intentional about that thinking. Part of the reason why I think I was too self-confident about it is I never got an internship when I was freshman, sophomore year. Not because I didn't try. Like I tried to get internships with the big tech companies, but I just never got them. I got an interview or I'd go like on on-site, but I just never get the internship. But I still always believed for some reason, like I could get a job if I wanted to. So I was never really worried about that. And I feel like there was also this idea that like short-term risky behavior is longer-term less risky.
Yeah.
Or like people say this a lot, and I think I'm starting to say, and I kind of believe it. It's just like the skills that you learn at the right types of startups. Like even if you waste quote unquote 2 years like a startup that doesn't succeed, you'll probably end up learning a whole lot that might take you a lot longer to learn at some other companies. I think at the end of the day, the most important thing is if you're going to work somewhere that you really respect and like your manager. Like your manager has to be like a really, really smart person who respects and has ability to go do things. So you can do that at a big company or you can do that at a small company. But like you'll just learn, the chances of you learning a lot, I think short term are really good, and you'll have that information compound for a while. And I feel like that was something that I had in my mind. So I was not only like overconfident in my ability to get a tech job, I was like, I don't actually have a lot of money that I spend. Like I just don't spend a lot of money. I can live off a little bit. I'll always be able to get a software job. Like I'm not too worried about that. Plus like I can take risks short term, and I think it's actually better for me long term. It just made me like okay with that personally. And I had conversations with my friends like very like about this, where they were like kind of like, it was like they sat me down and was like, why are you doing this? Like, this is kind of stupid on some level. And I defended it, and I like talked to them about it in that similar way. It was like my roommates in my senior year of college. I remember like having a conversation with them about this. Good on them for having that, because like if I was being stupid, then like, it's good to call someone out. But anyway, like
I think the naivety is very important, especially when you know you want to make it, right? Because with the amount of like knowledge and information available today, I think it's very easy for someone to find a reason not to do something. Yeah. It's very like, I could tell you 100 reasons why this idea is not going to work, either because of TAM or approach, whatever. But you got to have a little bit of that, I'm going to find a way to make it work. Yeah. Right? Or else it just never goes through.
It's just not gonna work. Yeah. Right. Like there's the, I forgot what the saying was, but there's just some saying of like, frick, I'm gonna butcher it, so I might not do it. But it was something like, if you don't believe that something, like you can make something happen, well, you're right, like it won't happen, or something like that. It's along the lines of like the belief kind of has to come before some of those things. It's a prerequisite. It's not a guarantee that it happens, but you have to have like a prerequisite amount of belief in something. But so there was that part of it, and my dad was just supportive all around. Like my dad was pretty good about the whole startup scene in general. Like he'd always listen to these podcasts about like how I built this. He always listened to that, so I listened to a lot of that too.
Someday I'll get you on.
Yeah, dude, that would be wild. That would be so sick. I haven't listened to a lot of like Guy Raz in a while, but like when I was in high school, I used to listen to them all the time, or like college. He did the TED Radio Hour too, so I'd listen to a lot of that. So my dad his mindset was always in there, and he was very supportive of all that. He's the reason I went into software. Like I was like no idea what to do, and he was just like, study computer science, and I was like, okay, cool. And so he was very supportive about that. My mom just supports me regardless. She might not know what's going on all the time, but she loves to ask questions, and I love to answer them. And then I think either way, they'll support me regardless.
Where are your parents right now? What city?
They're in Mississippi.
Okay.
Clinton, Mississippi, the suburbs of Jackson.
Still running a restaurant, or?
Yeah, running a restaurant.
And you always have that fallback, right? Like worst case, you don't get a job, startup doesn't work out. you know you have a job there.
Yeah, I can always go. It's always nice to go back and just eat some good Indian food. At the very least, I could always stay at their home, eat food, and then I just wouldn't have to pay either, so I could just be unemployed at my parents' place too.
Yeah. I think that's one thing that, you know, being an Indian household, I'm always comfortable with is, worst case, even if I burn it all.
Oh yeah.
Don't listen to this, but if I burn, if like I try out ideas, get rid of all my savings, I know I can go to my sister's place. I know I can go to my parents' place, and
Yeah.
no one's gonna like kick me out. I'm not gonna be on the street, right? And so like having that level of comfort, I think, puts you in a better spot to take bigger swings, take bigger hits, try something more outlandish, and maybe that works, right?
Yeah.
And just having that comfort level, I think, is very important.
Yeah, no, I've found comfort in that, and I think I was really lucky in that area. I don't know if all kids have that, or they might have it, but they might not feel it.
Yeah.
Is the other thing. It's like there's two very different feelings, as well as like
100%.
having it and like knowing that your parents were there. So I always felt like my parents were there, and I have confidence that they would do it. I'm like, even though I'm always skeptical when other people tell me that they don't feel that their parents would do that for them, I think that they would. But sometimes I get the impression from other especially a lot of Indian people like that were from college, or like it's a very common stereotype to be like, you know, engineer, lawyer, doctor kind of thing, and that pressure's there for sure.
100%.
Even if you feel like your parents always have your back, that pressure is always there. Like even as jokes, I feel like I saw it, but yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird, it's just a funny thing. It's just there's always that piece of it too from Indian families.